What? Star Wars and Marvel crossover? Could this actually happen? Now, of course, these kind of things only happen in fan fictions, but what if Disney created a show that was literally just that? Fan fiction. And that's what their Marvel show is going to be all about. It's called What If? And apparently, from what I've heard, and you Marvel fans can correct me if I'm wrong, apparently this What If show is going to be canon because it takes place in multiverses throughout the galaxy. So anything's possible in that sense. But in a recent interview, head writer, and we're going to watch the interview in a minute. I haven't watched it yet. This is on collider.com. Shout out to them. I'm going to link this article in the description too. Went on to actually say that they are thinking or in talks to somehow link Marvel and Star Wars together. Now, before we go on, I just want to know, how do you guys think about that? How do you feel about this? For me, it would be really cool in a what if scenario, but as you know, I've done some videos in the past, like Vader versus this and this character, Batman versus Boba, this and that, but would it really jive? I don't think so. I don't want to really see these characters in the same universe, but at the same time I do, so I have mixed feelings. I don't know, it's kind of canceling each other out, and I'm like neutral about it now. With the first season of What If getting ready to start streaming weekly on August 11th, I recently spoke to director Brian Andrews and head writer AC Bradley. While we spoke about the making of the series, Easter egg fans should look out for, and how long it would take to get a third season on air if Disney decided to make it, which season 2 is already confirmed, I think the most important thing we discussed was how fans can get a Marvel Star Wars What If crossover episode. Like I said previously, the thing about What If is anything is possible, because it doesn't have to fit into the MCU. The sky is the limit. So imagine an episode where some Marvel character gets dropped off in Tatooine and ends up teaming up with Luke Skywalker, voiced by Mark Hamill. Or Luke Skywalker somehow arrives on Earth where he and Captain America have to track down literally anything. Of course, this is just the beginning of what Disney could do with What If, since they own so many franchises that they could combine almost anything in the MCU for a special episode. Let's go ahead and watch the... Now, of course, it would be animated, so let's go ahead and watch the interview.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Great.
How you doing?
Love
man?
your office.
I know, totally. Look at the gotcha man back there. Love it.
Yeah, if you want to introduce them in a future episode of What If meets, the MCU meets Gotcha Man, I would freak the F out.
I would love that. I have no idea, but yes, that would be amazing.
First, let me start with congratulations on the first 3 episodes. They're fantastic. Cannot wait to see the rest.
Awesome.
Did you guys ever pitch to like Disney and by the way, maybe this is a season 2 or season 4 thing, but like, what if a Marvel character entered another Disney franchise, for example, like Tron, like the combination of the Disney worlds?
On What If, I was kind of notorious for trying to get a Star Wars character involved, and we did try at one point, but there was just, it's kind of like, play with the sandbox you were given. We gave you the entire MCU. Run with that. And I was like, okay, but still, Luke Skywalker would be an amazing Jedi.
It's true.
An amazing Avenger. He's a Jedi.
He is a Jedi, but it's true. We did have those thoughts, and we were just like, woo! And then that's
Luke Skywalker as a Avenger would absolutely just... Oh, I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. I think he would destroy every single Avenger there. I mean, think about it. He can stop Thor's hammer. He could force choke the Hulk. I mean, unless the Hulk starts to like push back against the force choke, it really depends on how powerful either of them are. Now we're getting into a what if scenario of our own, which I've been meaning to do these kind of videos, and Josh and I were going to continue this series. But anyways, let's continue.
And they're like, hey guys, a little bit of guidelines. Sorry, maybe the MCU. Let's stick with. So it's true, but we were thinking about that. But who knows if fans watch it and love it and clamor enough? If future episodes, who knows what can happen? What if, right?
Yeah. Listen,
it's true, dude. They want to make money, and they know that if fans really want to see something in a what if type of show where everything is just what if, this could actually happen. This could actually, if we want to, dude, sound off in the comments right now. Like, I guarantee you they'll be looking at all of these analytics and being like, hey, you know what? There might be a audience for this, which I guarantee you there would be. I mean, you're essentially taking the two biggest IPs on the face of the, well, not the two, well, I don't know. Harry Potter's pretty huge too. But they're taking Star Wars and Marvel and they're putting them together. If they were to do that, what if? I think you would have, like, just imagine you have the numbers for the people that watched Loki and the numbers for the people that watched Mandalorian, and you freaking add them together. That's kind of what this would be like. Of course, it's not live action, which would have given them more numbers, but that's kind of what this would be like. I'd watch it. I'd be down. I'd be interested. If they want to do this in a what if scenario, like fan fiction, whatever, sure, man. You know, it's weird as long as it's not canon. Sure, cool. Why not? It's like a fan film.
By the way, multiverse, what if? I mean, you mix these all these realities. Because I know Mark Hamill. I mean, if you know what I mean. He likes doing voices.
Of course, totally. Are you kidding? It'd be amazing. Yes.
Yes. Also, the other thing is that what if opens the door for consumer products at Disney to sell all this alt merchandise. So you figure maybe that's the way in, is going after consumer products and saying, look how many Star Wars toys sell and the Marvel toys. Let's get Luke Skywalker in here, because think about the sales.
Oh yeah.
I think you should be putting together the business.
Okay, when he puts it like that, I don't want them to do it. As long as it stays in this, no, you know what, dude? I don't, you know, because it could go totally sideways. What if they make Luke Skywalker like a little P-boy or something? You know, like he sucks. You know, they've done it before in live action. So what's stopping them now against the Avengers? And then it would create, you know what? It could also create. They got to be really careful if they do this. It could create the biggest divergence. Well, you know, it could actually bring all Star Wars fans together, but we'd just be fighting all the Marvel fans, and the Marvel fans would be fighting us because, of course, we can't play along. So, I don't know, man. They'd have to be very careful how they do this. Like, nobody can overpower the other person. And then putting this in the hands of, like, just, you know, a select group of talented people at Disney. Man, I sense a storm a brewing here. I don't know, man. It'd be cool though.
This shit works. Just
it's
aim
true,
at the
man.
money. You know, not the story. It's the money you guys can make by letting us do this.
It's true, dude. It's true. No, there's a bunch of
Now he's speaking Disney's language. Only money.
ideas that were around, and who knows? Maybe at some point, maybe we'll get lucky and get to go further. But first order of business was like
The fact that they're even trying to pitch this and like talk about it is kind of mind-blowing. It's something I didn't really think would happen. I think something like this has happened in the comics like a very long time. I think in the 80s or the 90s. I remember there was something with a Star Wars crossover into Marvel. I know we've had E.T. crossover and, you know, in pretty much in canon and in Indiana Jones. You can actually see R2, C-3PO, and I think E.T. on some hieroglyphic or something like that. But and then also E.T. is at the Boonta Eve pod race in episode 1, if you didn't know. So E.T. exists. His species exists in Star Wars.
let's open up.
And that's because George and Steven Spielberg are buddies.
Diverse off the films that we know, and then we hopefully as things progress, things can get wilder, and more crazy. So yeah.
Season 20, Baby Groot and Baby Yoda can have a play date.
Exactly, have a play date.
What the heck? Could you imagine the merchandise they would sell on a t-shirt or like toys?
That's adorable. That's adorable.
Everything about that is great. I am curious because I know this is going to be a hit. People are going to dig this thing. And I know season 2 is coming next year or the year after. If they say, okay, we want you guys to make another.
This is so weird. I'm hyped, but at the same time, I'm just like, please don't do this. Like, it's just such a strange feeling.
Now that you have the infrastructure figured out, how long would it take to start writing and get like a season 3 on the air?
Well, I guess it depends on a number of things. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes vendors change.
Okay, so I think the rest of this is just going to be mainly about them getting the show produced and all that stuff, which I'm going to watch the show. I mean, I had a Marvel channel and I changed it to Fantasy Theory, which is going to primarily focus on a lot of Lord of the Rings content. And that channel is going to be popping. It's got over 60,000 subs. I just haven't made a video in about 9 months, but I teamed up with a super nerd of Lord of the Rings and MCU and Marvel, actually Marvel Comics, and we're gonna be making some really good content. I think we've recorded like 20 videos and they're all edited, just ready to go. So I'm just building like a big roster of videos I can just shoot out for you guys for content, because I know you guys really want to see Lord of the Rings, and I'm not as versed in Lord of the Rings because it's such a huge world, but I love the movies, but I don't know enough about them. So hopefully this will inspire me to actually like go and finish all the books, because I started reading them when I was a kid. I just never finished it. And then read The Hobbit and everything else, and get into that whole world of lore, because I love that stuff too. But that being said, imagine they do like a Lord of the Rings crossover with Marvel. I mean, they could literally do it. Well, no, because they don't own Lord of the Rings, so they can't do that. But this, you know what? Another good thing this does is that it could open the door for different companies, like, you know, let's say Warner Brothers getting together and being like, okay, you know what? Let's do a Harry Potter, Star Wars, Marvel collab, and then eventually we have them in live action. Like, you know, 10, 15 years from now, they're like, okay, you know what? We've kind of emptied the storage for all of the lore that we could talk about, make movies and shows of. We've emptied our reserves. Let's just go crazy and create a what if show, and it's all like CG, how they did it with, you know, Mark Hamill and The Mandalorian. And they just de-age everybody, and they just like deep fake everyone, and it's just Voldemort versus Vader versus Thanos walks in there, and then Iron Man walks in, and you get Boba, and his Batman comes in, Superman. It'd be crazy. It'd be pandemonium. It'd be pretty cool. It's like that fan film that's what's that guy named? So what's his name? Mike something. He created Hulk vs. Superman, which was mind-blowingly amazing. So this opens so many doors, but at the same time, it can do so much destruction to the fandom, because I know how we all are. And on both sides, I know how you Marvel guys are, and I know I think Star Wars fans take the cake for being the most outspoken, which is saying a lot, because Marvel fans, that's what you get when we're fans, man. We love things, and we really take them seriously, and when you mess with them, or, you know, you do something that's just not really in line with the continuity of how they've built these characters, you know, through the comics, through the books, through the movies, then fans are going to be pretty pissed, and that's fine. That makes sense. So a lot of people say, oh yeah, your expectations. It's like, well, our expectations are led from the story that we've been given, so it only makes sense that we would have a certain preconceived notion of where this story is supposed to go, or what it's supposed to be like in the lore and the comics and this and that. And then if you're going to deviate from that, because you have some new writers in there that don't necessarily know Marvel, or don't necessarily know Star Wars, or have their own vision that they want to push, then yeah, fans are going to be like, what the hell? But this what if scenario kind of thing could be really cool, and it could be really fun. And or it could just crash and burn. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please sound off, because I bet you, you know, they'll probably look at some of this information and be like, yo, there's like 1,000 comments here. People being like, yes, we want Marvel and Star Wars put together in a what if scenario. And again, as long as it stays, you know, uncanon, fine. Even though it stays canon in the Marvel universe, which is kind of weird, because it's a multiverse, which allows them to do literally anything, fine. Whatever. Just don't let it be canon in Star Wars, because then it would just be too weird. And just, because then you'd be like, well, where was Captain America during... It's not even during the same time. None of this stuff is during the same time. All of this stuff, Star Wars has already done. Like, it happened in the past. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. You know, these light years are just reaching us now. So, they happened light years and eons ago. Anyways, that's my thoughts on this. Let me know what you guys think. I've linked the interview and the full article down below from Collider. And yeah, catch you guys in a little bit. See you later.